Alright, it is journey draft time. Done a couple of these. It seems to be, well, one of my friends described it as being just a normal draft format where some crazy shit happens. Now, it's no longer sort of all Voltron-y. It's not primarily Voltron-y, you do still get that. Um, Looking at this pack, let's make it slightly bigger. There we go. We have Master of the Feast, which I first picked before and haven't been able to try out yet. It's fine. It's probably okay. The drawback on it, I think, is real, but I have experienced that as much enchantment removal as there is in the set, that's not actually a reason not to take Master of the Feast. Alternatives here are Nyx Weaver, which is excellent. Hubris and a Crow Mastiff and Satyr Hoplite are all great. It's a choice between Master of the Feast and Nyx Weaver, I think. I think I want to take Nyx Weaver because I've not yet tried the black-green graveyard deck, and it's a more colour committing first pick, but that card is such a key piece of that. Okay, this pack has a couple of okay blue cards, pretty good white card, and another decent white removal spell. For us, it's Grim Guardian or Ravenous Lucrocota. I think it's Lucrocota. It's a really nice card. It's a solid Pillarfield Ox that has fantastic upside. There's nothing else. This is quite a weak pack, really. I mean, none of these commons are really on the power level that some of the others can be, so I'm just going to take the Lucrocota there. Look at that cost sort. So this is the same pack that we had at the beginning. All three of the aforementioned commons are still there. The strongest of the three, I think, is a Crow and Mastiff, though Hubris is also very strong, and I would rather take the Hubris, I believe. The Mastiff is also very good, though. I mean, it's none of the green cards, really. I mean, this is okay, but it's filler. You can get a lot of filler 5-drops. Humbler Mortals is also fine, but I think I'm just going to take the Hubris and hedge a little bit here. I think I prefer it over Chrome Mastiff just a little bit. And here we have a Pin to the Earth, which is decent. Oppressive Ray still being here suggests that white is going to be open. There is, for us, a Renowned Weaver, which is fine, but it's not as high power level as, say, Oppressive Rays or Ajani's Presence, both of which are still here. Goldforge Sentinel is a fine sort of pick up late. There's also Nyx Infusion, which is okay, and if we wanted to maintain the colours that we've got going, we probably take Nyx Infusion because it fits into either the black-green strategy or the blue-black strategy if we wanted to go down that route. So I think I'm just going to take the Nyx Infusion here. Ooh, hello, we are in the right colours. So we have Spire Spine, Bloodcraze Hoplite, Spiteful Blow, and Farika's Chosen. I think the highest upside here is just the Chosen. There's also Consign to Dust, which is the best disenchant effect in the entire block. This has such high upside. I think we want the Chosen, though. In the black-green deck, we want to fill our graveyard, hope to hit a Nemesis of Mortals late. All these cards being here is really good. Bloodcraze Hoplite doesn't really fit in with the plan. Spire Spine definitely does. Just allows you to make one massive beater and go to town. But I'm just going to take the Farika's Chosen here. Okay. It's a fairly clear Nightmarish end here. This card is strange, because obviously it will kill anything early and then not a lot late, unless you specifically hold lands in hand. I like this artwork. I didn't realise that. I think this is King Makar in his bed. And Ashiok has just sort of come in and wrecked him a little bit. The most powerful card here is Blade Tuskboar. This card is ridiculous in this format, more so than in others. But I'm just going to take the Nightmarish End. And now we have the choice between Spiteful Blow and Satyr Grove Dancer, both of which are really strong. I think I want Spiteful Blow. We've got more black cards than we do green cards. We haven't seen very high power green. We've seen some decent green, but nothing of the order of Golden Hinds that would lead us to believe that green is necessarily open. But Spiteful Blow is a clear sign that black is open. This kind of effect, the reason it costs 6 and is a sorcery is because just destroy target creature unconditionally is very powerful. Here, the clear take is Nessian Game Warden. Again, Renowned Weaver would be nice to have. We do already have Nyx Weaver, so we do have some resilience against flying. And this card reads, make a 4/5 and cantrip. Taking this means we do have to focus on ramp in pack 3, but this card is such high power level, and it's amazing that it's still here. None of this other stuff is really decent. Immortal Obstinacy is fairly decent, but we're just going to take the Game Warden. Out of the pack we opened, we wheeled both the green Constellation cards. I'm not sure which of these is better. I suspect it's Golden Hydox, especially if you can get some Death Touches going. Forcing some blocks means you can just get some pesky creatures out of the way. The 5/5 is better. This just isn't a card. So it's one of the 6 drops. I think I favour Golden Hydox. At the moment we haven't really got anything that's that... we haven't got anything that's really that strong with Trample. I mean, we're going to take the Humbler of Mortals here. But there's nothing really strong to give Trample to. I mean, Nessian Game Warden is fine. So the Golden Hydox potentially works a bit better. Here, I'm just going to take the Font of Return. It works really well with the Nyx Weaver, and we can always pick these up late. We may even get another one. Hopefully no one actually boards these in, because that would kind of wreck us a little bit. I'm happy taking the Sentinel here. This card is fine, and would fit in our deck more than others. So maybe that's the pick? It probably is the pick. I'm not a big fan of this card. This should not still be here. I kind of want to take Font of Fertility though, because it does ramp us. Oppressive Raise is really good. No one's in black-blue. Okay. Returned Reveler is fine. It will trade with a 3/1, or it will block some damage and be able to fill our graveyard. But it's not that exciting. This pack is very mediocre for us. We have a Weight of the Underworld and a Karametra's Favour, and that's pretty much it. Cetessan Starbreaker is very low power level for the mana cost. I'm not a huge fan of Weight of the Underworld either, though. It feels like we have better removal already, and that we'll pick up better removal in this pack. I mean, this pack is just pretty weak. There's not much enchantment return. I think I just take... I'm not going to play this card. So which of these other cards am I going to play? It's probably the Karametra's Favour. I don't want to first pick a Karametra's Favour. I'm going to, though. That's a very, very weak pick, but not a lot I can do here, and this pack isn't much better. I think we just take the Adunos River Trawler. It combines well with our late game, and it's just a very solid creature. The alternative is to take, say, a Necrobite, but I think I like taking the slightly higher power card here. A 2/2 for 3 is fine, and if you ever return something with it, you're very, very happy. Again, this pack is just not very strong. The strongest card is Kragma Butcher by quite a way. Acolyte's Reward if you're in the right deck for it. And this is the same pack with the same commons. So, because we didn't get the enchantment removal from pack 1, I'm going to take Unravel the Ether here. I would like to have a Necrobite in my deck, but I don't see that happening right now. We should be able to either wheel one, because people don't value it highly enough, or pick up more relevant things. Caranticor. Here we have a choice between Snake and Satyr. We just want Satyr. We want to fill our graveyard and then start getting things back with Nyx Weaver and other things like that. It fixes our mana a little bit. I'm going to hide this Hubris because we're not seeing blue this way either, so there's no reason to believe that we're in that. Satyr Wayfinder is another decent target for Karametra's favour. That's not high praise for it, but it will make the cut, so we'll take it. And this is the same common cycle again. This time we'll take the Necrobite. I don't want to continue passing these. I do want to pick up at least one. We're more likely to wheel the Satyr Wayfinder than we are to wheel one of the Necrobites. Though, there being 4, maybe that's not true. And maybe we just want to get this engine fully going. These packs have not been very high powered, so I think that the plan is just to get the key pieces for our engine and hope that that's good enough. So I'm going to take the second Wayfinder. It's quite a late Divination and quite a late Nyx-born Triton. I'm not averse to splashing. We've already got Karametra's Favour and Font of Fertility, which can seek out a third colour. But there's a Forsaken Drifters, which is a perfectly reasonable card to take. It's 4 power on the ground. It does what you want it to do. So I don't see any reason to take a different card here. It probably won't make the cut, but it's more likely to make the cut than a splash card. I'm kinda surprised that these white cards are still here. But there's an Eye Gouge, which is a fine early piece of removal. There are lots of X ones in this format, and that kills all of them. And will randomly hose anyone who's playing Cyclopes, which I believe is the correct plural. Or Cyclopes, possibly. Kind of just want to take Siren Song there. We don't have any inspired to abuse it, but I mean, if we want to take one of these, we can do. We can get one on the wheel. Not that we want to equip that with the Siren Song there, but this kind of effect is really good. So seeing it this late means that I'm just going to take it. Again, it works well with our early game that doesn't really do anything else. So giving them something to do after they've come down and done their thing is going to be great. Alright, well, our pack was not very good, so I don't really see this as an indication that anything is really here. I think I'm just going to take the Stormcaller because it's the most scary card if anyone happens to be in that archetype. If someone's trying to wheel this and get rewarded for being in those colours, then I'm going to deny them that. So here we can take the War Chanter. We don't have much high end at the moment. It's likely this won't make the cut, but it's more likely to make the cut than any of this other nonsense, so I'm just going to take that now. Going into pack 3, we're looking to get rewarded for being in black-green. We're looking to pick up Farika's Benders, Nemesis of Mortals, and decent ramp, so all the Satyrs that we can find. I'm just going to take Pillar of War here. We don't have much Bestow, but if we need a 3/3 blocker, this is a 3/3 blocker. It's not going to... We're not going to take either of these cards and play them. That nullifies very late, though. Snake Wheel, that's great. That's definitely better than the War Chanter. Jeez, all these nullifies. I'm going to hide War Chanter because we don't want to play it. Snake does a better job of gaining us some life, restabilizing us. Night Lear, excellent. Well, that's a good start. That boosted the power level of our deck quite considerably. We can fetch it back with Font of Return and Nyx Weaver. Ideally, we'd want the Karametra's Acolyte because that's a decent source of ramp, even if it is 4 mana. But Nylea, we've got to take because it's amazing. And here we have a pretty clear Nessian Corsair. I'd like to take the Opaline Unicorn, but this card is just so efficient. Lash of the Whip is fine, but we can probably get... We've got 3 pieces of removal already, 4 if we count Farika's Chosen. We can pick up various other things like that. We just want the solid creature to fill out our early game at the moment, I think. Mokus's Marauder is a consideration here. That can just push through a win out of nowhere. Though, it might not be what our deck is looking for. However, our deck is not really looking for a Feral Invocation. We could take Traveller's Amulet on the off chance that we find a Scholar of Athreos, which would fit in our deck very well. I'm going to hide this Pillar of War because I don't think we're playing that. I'm going to take Mokus's Marauder because if we do happen to pick up a lot of good black permanents in this pack, then we're going to get rewarded for having Mokus's Marauder in our deck. And there's nothing really else here, so let's just take that. Okay, so we've got a second Mokus's Marauder or a Farika's Cure. Farika's Cure is very efficient removal. It might be what we want here. I think I like taking the piece of removal over anything else, so we're just going to take the Farika's Cure. Oh, and then we get past Whip. Wow, okay. Whip is amazing with our current setup. It allows us to cheat things into play that otherwise we wouldn't be able to cheat into play. We also have Sip of Hemlock, which is worth considering, but Whip is just such high power level in this setup. It isn't for every deck. There is no way you just put this into a deck and hope that it does what you want it to do. It will win in those decks. It will win in the decks where you're aggressive black-white and you just want to be able to win races, but its main function is in this kind of deck, so I'm just going to take it. And an Nessian Asp. Excellent. That is the card we wanted to see. Just the best green common that is not Satyr Wayfinder. No, not Satyr Wayfinder. Voyaging Satyr. That's what I meant. As an argument here for rescue from the underworld, it again allows cheating things into play, though the mana cost is such that that's not necessarily true. There's also Nylea's Presence, which is a decent way of fixing our mana, making this Farika's Cure easier to cast, for instance. And Return Phalanx is fine. It's a fine early blocker. Out of the 3 that's going to make our deck, I think it's the Return Phalanx. Even if it sits in the sideboard, having access to something like that is going to be very good. So here we have another decent 3-drop or a Karametra's Acolyte. I think I want the Acolyte. I want to be able to get to 7 mana for this, and multiple sources of mana to be able to cast our top end. This again is a close one. Agent of Horizons is just a very solid card, but I think we'll just take the Acolyte. And here we'll just take Hedonist. It's just a bear. It's a 2/1. It's fine. It serves a purpose. Cut this Psychic Intrusion. Take the Traveller's Amulet. Oh, Dark Betrayal is nice for the sideboard. Yeah, we're basically done here. As for what we actually want to play, we've got 30 here, so we've got some cuts to make. It's likely that Siren Song Lyre doesn't make it. It's likely that Return Phalanx sits in the sideboard. In the main deck, we just want to set up sort of this combo engine where we get stuff into the graveyard and then get it back. Siren Song Lyre is useful against aggressive decks, or Voltron-y decks, I should say. Mokus's Marauder is not going to see play in this deck. Return Phalanx won't see play main board. So we should sort out... Font of Return definitely does see play. Like, this is the deck that wants Font of Return. It's like the Eldunos River Trawler isn't going to be good enough. Nyx Weaver and these two are very strong. It gets back Nylea, so actually, yeah. if we happen to mill our Nylea, being able to get that back is just so good, without needing to even use Nyx Weaver. Forsaken Drifters is likely a cut I'm willing to make here. So that leaves us with 2 cuts. I think we need Font of Fertility. We don't have a lot to do on turn 1, so being able to just make a 1-drop play is going to be great. And playing this on turn 1, doing something on turn 2, and then turn 3 being able to crack this is fine. Sorry, that was my chair. Bit creaky. Okay, let's see what we want to play here. Okay, I don't think we need the Karametra's Favour. It won't do too much for us. So I think we play all this. Play the Whip, Spiteful Blow, River Trawler, these things, and this. That's 21, then it's a choice between these various cards. Oh no, not that one. Freak is Chosen has to be in the deck, so the last slot is a choice between those, so I'm just going to sort out this here. I'm going to stick this at 6 just because it does cost 6 to both play and activate. Our curve is very flat. We probably want one of these 2-drops just to make things a little bit better for us in the early game. Yeah, we have a lot of kind of wishing I had those spiders now. The spiders would do a lot of work. I think I'm going to play the Returned Reveler because it helps our engine. The Returned Phalanx will come in if we need an actual blocker. None of those Adam Ketlands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of removal, 6 if you count Freak as Chosen, which you can obviously buy back with Font of Return. Yeah, we don't have very many black permanents at all, so Mox's Marauder, while it interacts very favourably with Whip of Erebos, I don't think that's where we want to be necessarily. It's not going to get in enough damage for us to win. Our plan is just to make the late game, so I mean it might be wise to bring in this Karametra's Favour, just an additional source of ramp. That would involve taking out one of these higher end. See, this is not optional. You can target one of their creatures. It only must be blocked. It doesn't indicate that a target creature has to block. It's not the same. This is not Nemesis of Mortals. I wish it were. No, it is an enchantment creature. It may be that I actually want to cut the Karametra's Acolyte. No, that can't be right. That cannot be right. I'm not sure. I definitely feel like I need Karametra's Favour in this deck because we just need to get to later points in the game. We've got a lot of defensive early game that wants to just stick this on it so that it can serve as a way of ramping. Nyx Weaver, for instance, may not attack in very often in the early game. Let's work out what we definitely want. We may not want the snake. We might instead, like that might be the cut, because the snake is designed to get us to the late game, stabilize us from our relatively slow early game. But if we're powering up with Karametra's Favour, maybe that's better. I'd certainly rather see that in my opening hand than another 5-drop. So yeah, let's do that, and then hope to win with this top end. So let's add some land. 9-8 looks very good. Okay. So yeah, I'll submit this, and I'll see you in round 1.